Hello everyone, if you're a temporary resident in Canada or you're planning to become one, this is an important update you don't want to miss. So Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada, that's the IRCC, just announced a major change to the way maintained status works in Canada. So this change could affect your ability to work, study, or even stay here in Canada, especially if you have used or you have considered using a strategy like submitting a second application or what they call a dummy application. You know what I mean if you are guilty of this. So today I'll be breaking down everything you need to know in simple terms. What has changed, who it affects, what you should do now, and why this matters more than ever. So if you are new here, hit that subscribe button and join the tribe. Please like this video, drop a comment, and let's chat in the comment section if this video helps you in any way. Now let's start with the basics. What exactly is maintained status? So maintained status means that you are a temporary resident, say on a work or a study permit, and you apply to extend or to change your status before it expires. You are legally allowed to stay in Canada under the same conditions while you wait for IRCC to process your application. That means that you can keep working if you apply to extend your work permit, or you keep studying if you applied to extend your study permit. So as long as your new application is submitted on time, you don't have to leave the country. This sounds really simple enough, right? But here is where things get really tricky. Drop a comment here and let me know what your resident status is and where you are at in your application process. Now, some things have changed. Here are the major updates, and this is the big one. As of May 28, 2025, you can no longer submit a second application while you're on a maintained status if your original status has already expired. So in the past, many applicants would file what sometimes is called a dummy application. Essentially, it's a placeholder, just a trigger maintained status application. Then after their permit expired, they will submit a second one, which could be a more complete or an eligible application. This strategy was often used by people waiting to gain more work experience or to receive an express entry invitation. Unfortunately, this loophole just closed. Moving forward now, if your original status expires and you submit a second application after the expiration date, even if you are on a maintained status, IRCC will now return that application unprocessed. This means that you will be out of status. You will have to stop working or studying immediately, and your only option may be to apply for restoration status if you are eligible. And this change doesn't just affect people submitting dummy applications. Even if you are genuine, or if your application is incomplete, or if you have missing documents, or you did not submit on time, it can still be rejected or returned. Now, tell me what's your situation right now, especially those of you whose permit is expiring, unfortunately. Drop a comment in the comments, and what are the plans that you have been considering moving forward about how to gain status again. Let's discuss that in the comment section. I'm sure you're asking why IRCC is asking or making this change. Now, IRCC hasn't officially said why they made this change, but it's pretty clear what's going on. There's been growing concern about people misusing maintained status. Some applicants were submitting ineligible applications just to buy time. You know how people behave. That's the so-called dummy application I was talking about. And this gave them an unfair advantage over others that are genuine. So they stayed in Canada, continued working here in Canada, they gained the experience, and then they used that to strengthen their express entry profile. This new update is IRCC's first official crackdown on those type of behavior, and it's likely that we'll see more of these restrictions in the coming days. So this move will definitely impact express entry pool as a ripple effect. So by limiting the use of dummy applications, IRCC is reducing the number of people who can use the system to boost their CRS scores. And that means that there will be less competition in the pool, but it also means there will be fewer second chances if your timing isn't right. So if you have been thinking about using a similar strategy, now is the time to rethink and adjust your plans. Things are changing. So please, you need to reflect on your plans and adjust it immediately. So let me give you a scenario for better understanding. So let's imagine a foreign worker in Canada on a valid work permit. They are just 3 months away from qualifying under the Canadian Experience class, but their permit is about to expire. They decide to submit a dummy work permit extension, which is not a real intention or eligibility. The purpose for this action is just to trigger their maintained status. They just want to stay in the pool until they are ready to apply for it. So during those 3 months, they gain the experience they need, they receive an ITA, they apply for a bridging open work permit. If you did this under the old rule, it's actually worked. However, under the new rule, it ain't gonna work. Now, if IRCC finds out that your first application wasn't genuine and it's withdrawn or refused, your maintained status will end immediately and your bridging open work permit gets returned unprocessed. So that is really going to affect your status. So by this singular action, you are out of status and must stop working immediately and might even face a 5-year ban for misrepresentation. They are not going to take this lightly, so you have to be genuine in your application from the start. So for better clarification, this object also makes it clear that being on a maintained status doesn't automatically mean that you can work or study. It depends on the kind of application you submitted. If you are on a work permit and applied to extend it as a worker, you can keep working. If you applied to switch to a visitor's permit, you can't keep working. And same for students, you can only keep studying if you apply to extend your study permit, if you understand what I mean. So please double check the type of application that you're submitting and don't assume that you are covered. So here is how to protect yourself, because you must know what to do, right? Number one, you have to submit a complete application before your status expires. And this means that all your documents, your proofs, your fees, everything has to be submitted from the very beginning. And don't rely on dummy applications. Please don't do that. It's not worth the risk. IRCC keeps a record of every application, even the ones that was withdrawn. So number three, I would say you should plan early. If your status is expiring in 6 months, start preparing now. Don't wait until the last minute. Talk to an expert if you are unsure. And that's number four, where you stand. Speak to a licensed immigration consultant or a lawyer. A small mistake can have a big consequence on your application and your eventual stay in Canada. You don't want to mess things up. So remember that Mark Carney, who is now our new Prime Minister, is in the hot seat now, and I saw a video about an announcement he made a few weeks back, and I'm going to quote him here. He says here that we will return our immigration to sustainable levels by capping the total number of temporary workers and international students at less than 5% of Canada's population by the end of 2027. It's a sharp drop from the recent high of 7.3%. And this will help ease the strain on housing, on public infrastructure, and on social services. At this time, we will work to attract the best talents in the world to build our economy. Canada has what everyone wants. We are a confident nation that celebrates diversity, that believes in and practices free speech, that respects the rule of law, that has a vibrant democracy. We value innovators and builders. We must trust science to protect our immense natural heritage. For Canadians abroad thinking about returning to build their lives in our nation, there's never been a better time to come home. unquote. So that's the quote from our new Prime Minister, Mark Carney. And honestly, these numbers are people's lives being halted. There are over 5 million people right now who have their work permits expiring, and that is why we need to be aware of updates and how these updates affect you. And also with the new immigration minister, Lena Diab, who brings a wealth of legal and political experience to the table. She did an incredible job as Nova Scotia's Minister of Immigration from 2013 to 2021, where she helped to expand the province's immigration programs and launch many express entry aligned and entrepreneurial streams. So she means business, honestly, as Canada's new immigration minister, Auntie No One Grill. So she's going to unwrap so many things for us, and we must really stay in the loop to know what is coming. So in the recent draws for the Canadian Experience class, only 500 people got in. Now, to get 547, you need to have a master's degree in Canada, you need to have worked in Canada for about 3 years, and then you must probably have a maximum result in your IELTS. The Canada Experience class, we see a pattern here, and a scary one, honestly. The healthcare category draws that they did in May 2nd was about 510. It's almost like it just tells people that you don't want them, because 510 is high numbers, and they took about 500 people. Also for education category, it was about 479. And in the last healthcare, it was about 460 something. So if you have your permits expiring in 3 months, there's just very little you can do. The only category-based draw that saw the highest numbers for people this year was French. So if you're serious about migrating or immigration, just go and learn French. Marry somebody that can speak French or somebody that speaks French. The French category-based draw that was done in March 21st, I believe, was about 379, and that's really, really low. And with about 7,500 people were taken. The March 6th one, they did about 410 for the French category, and they took about 4,500 people. That's a total of about 12,000 people in only the month of March. So you understand why you must learn French. So IRCC's changes to maintain status is a wake-up call. So whether you are already in Canada or you're planning to apply soon, please make sure that you understand these new rules. It's no longer enough to submit an application. You need to submit the right one at the right time with all the right documents in place. So I hope this has helped you to gain clarity on what has changed and how to move forward smartly in your application. If you have any questions or you want to share your experience, drop a comment below. Don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe for more immigration updates, career tips, and tips on living and navigating life here in Canada. Please stay informed, stay legal, and stay ready. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.